time you come around. Like, oh my, something died and it just can't be found. Tell me what good would I be to anyone with no boundaries? Trust me when I need to lock it down. I need it.
Hey guys, it's Melanie with Sun Moon Truth Tarot. Okay, just did a little bit of research, so I'm going to go ahead and do this video. It's on Dark Night of the Soul. What is Dark Night of the Soul? Okay, you really need to do research on this if you think you're in one. The definition that I found online for the Dark Night of the Soul, which I read about this and I'm like, yep, that's what it was. I already knew. It's a spiritual crisis in the journey towards a union with God. All right, it's used to describe an extremely difficult and painful period in one's life. Mine personally was triggered when my fiance hung himself in my garage and I found him. Mine lasted for 2 years and it caused me to go into a spiritual awakening and to find my relationship with God. Like in the beginning of mine. Okay, here's what happened. My fiance was an alcoholic and he hung himself. And I don't mean to smile about this, but he hung himself and me and my niece found him. But before he did, I dreamed it. I had all these premonitions and I dreamed it 2 weeks before it happened. Only the person that was beside me was dark and there was shadows on her. I didn't know who it was, but I knew it was somebody I was comfortable with and somebody I really loved and knew. It was my niece. In my dream, I heard God's voice and he said, Adam's going to die, but he's going to be reborn a better man. The day it happened, like all my life, I've had gifts, but I didn't understand them. I was raised in a Christian family to where it was like, no, that's bad. That's of the devil. And that's how I kept it to myself. Like so many things happened to me in my lifetime. When my grandmother passed, I heard her come and tell me, I'm gone now. But I thought everybody did that. And it was just so many things, like all these gifts I've always had within me. Being able to communicate, but I didn't speak on it because it was like, no, that's bad. So when the Dark Night of the Soul occurred for me, Adam died that day in the garage. But I found him. I didn't hesitate. I got him down. I gave him CPR. I'll never forget. His eyes was gray and they was lifeless, but I had never seen death before. In my life, I'd never seen nothing, so I didn't know he was dead. I just kept trying and trying, and I'm like, why did you do this? What are you doing? And it didn't hit me. Like all these things went through my head. Like, we have all these plans. We have this whole life ahead of us. What are you doing? Get up. And I'm smacking him in his face and doing everything to get him to come to, but he didn't come to. So I had faith so strong. Like back then, I had so much faith that he was going to get better. When the ambulance came, me and the cop took hands and we prayed together. I was like, will you pray with me? My grandma always told me if two people pray together, it makes it stronger. God hears you and he's going to hear us. But I had went into this vision. Let me go back a minute. When I was a child, I was suicidal and I tried to kill myself because my mom had a lot of breakdowns and I died one day. And that's the first time I talked to God. So let me go to this real quick. When I first passed, I seen darkness. It was complete darkness, like the in-between is what I call that. I don't know if that's what it was, but that's what I seen. And it was calm. It wasn't scary. I was there alone. I was by myself and it was complete darkness. And this little angel pops up and she's like, I got to talk to you. I don't know if it was an angel. It was a little younger person. She's like, I got to talk to you. I've got something to tell you. But I was like persistent. No, what's it like to die? Let me die. Let me die. Begging her to let me die. Then I start to float up to the heavens. And I see these people, but they don't have hands. Their hands are like pointy and they don't have feet. And I'm like, why don't they have hands and feet? And this is my 16-year-old mind asking all these questions. And I get to the point where I feel this peace that overcomes me. And it's like this strong peace that I've never felt in my entire life. And I'm like, I want that. I want that forever. I don't ever want to go back. Please don't make me go back. Mind you, I don't have kids yet or anything. This happened, I think I was 16 or 18. I was young. This is what I experienced. And then God comes, but I don't see him. He's in a room to the right, up in heaven. He's got his room to his right. He talks to me. And I'm like, let me die. I don't want to live. And he tells me, remember who you are and remember why you was sent down there. Stop doing this. I'm not going to let you kill yourself. It's not going to happen. Stop. He's like, you are going to have 2 kids, a girl and then a boy, within 2 years of each other, 2.5 years. They're both going to be gifted. You have to remember that you was sent down here to raise them, to shift this energy. They're going to be gifted. You have to raise them a specific way. You're going to raise them single as a single mother. The fathers are not going to be there. I knew this before I even gave birth to my kids, okay? So I go in and I have these kids, and I do it by myself. When I met Adam, fast forward, I always knew that something was going to happen with him. I knew it was a part of a soul contract that I had signed up for. I knew I was going to lose him to death. I knew it was going to be something tragic, and I would have to be the voice for him. So back to the day that he's in the garage. I see him, and the reason I went into that is because I seen him in the darkness. I seen him in the darkness. They're trying to get me into the house so that they can call his time of death, but they wanted me in the house, and I wouldn't go. Like, I stopped at the fence line by my house, and I asked that cop to pray with me. I said, please pray with me. If I go in this house, they're going to call him dead. They're going to give up, and he's not gone yet. We're not done. We have so much to do. So me and her take hands, and we pray together. The very second we take hands, my eyes was open. I'm watching her. I'm just praying, God help him, because that's all that could come out of my mouth. I was so freaked out. So we take hands, and they holler, we got a pulse. So they take him to the hospital, and I spent 11 months taking care of this man, buying him all the stuff he needed, and I went through hell with it, like hell. I was being judged. I was being looked down on. But I'm doing this because I know how much my kids love this man. I've let this man in my life. I've let him in. I've let my kids build an attachment with somebody. I can't let it go out like this. So I'm fighting for me and my kids, and for these promises that this man has come in and made to me and my kids. Well, he ends up passing away 2 months after my birthday, 11 months later. And I got a sense of peace because I was able to give back to him. But at the same time, I went into a dark night of the soul. And it set me to where I lost time with my kids. I sat in my room for 2 years. Sad, depressed, just eating anything I could get. I was so mad. I was like screaming at God, why would you put me through this? Why would you say he's going to get better and then he's going to be reborn a new man, and then you're going to take him anyway? Why didn't you just take him that day? And all this anger was in me. And I'm like, if you loved me and you did this, why would you put me through this? I don't understand. Then on top of that, my mom's got her cancer back. So I'm like, why would you give my mom back her cancer? You're going to take her too. So I'm fighting with God. Then I stop fighting with God and I start looking into spirituality. I actually went to church first. No, I went into spirituality first. I found a group and they helped me through a lot of things, and I'm like asking them, and I'm practicing my mediumship, and I'm finding out things about myself during this darkness while I'm in my room by myself, away from my kids, away from everybody. I just came to myself. I had to do it. I'm learning things about spirituality, right? And these people are so loving, so kind. They're helping me along my journey. They're helping me understand my gifts instead of shunning me for my gifts. They're like open about it. They're teaching me. They're growing with me. And I'm like, okay. So then I get into one specific group that was evil. That didn't work out good. So then I'm like, okay, this is not for me. So I go to church. In church, I'm getting oils in my fingers. I'm being told I'm a prophet. I'm being told this and that. And I'm going to all these different people looking for answers. People, my biggest mistake. I'm going to people. I'm going to communities. I'm going to things like this. My biggest mistake. Get to a church. I get the oils in my hands. The preacher's preaching his preacher. And I didn't like him anyway. I had this gift of discernment where like he is not good. He is not of God. He's a false prophet. I knew it from the second I laid eyes on him. Didn't like him. My friend's pushing for me to go talk to him. While I'm listening to his preaching, I'm hearing God telling me, there is somebody behind you. You need to go put your hands on. They have heart problems. There's somebody over here who's having problems breathing. I need you to go place your hands on this person. Not yet. Wait, I'm going to tell you when. All this is happening while I'm in this church. Then there's somebody behind this person you need to go talk to. All this is happening. I don't know anything about these gifts. This is all brand new to me. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with me and why I am seeing stuff. And I'm looking for the answers and I'm going everywhere to get them. So I get up at the point when the preacher says, I feel like an anointing is going to happen in here. And I'm like, yeah, I feel it too. Well, at this point, my friend has come over to me and she's yapping all this stuff in my ear. And I'm like, you need to shut up because I'm hearing God right now and I'm about to have to do something spiritual and help somebody. So I'm forced to like shut her up, which pisses her off at me. And then she's telling me I need to go up and talk to this preacher who she knows I don't like. Sorry about the fly. I don't kill them. I let them live. So it's like, what do I do? So I'm just like, shut up. I need you to stop. I'm hearing God and I'm going to have to do what he's asking me to do. So then it gets to this point where the lady over beside me, I'm like, somebody over here. When the preacher says what he says, I said, it's somebody over here. You're having problems breathing. I was like, you are afraid to go up there and ask for help. You feel like it's selfish and you're scared to stand up and say anything. You don't have to speak. God's already told me I need to come and put my hands on you. Can I come over to you? The lady's like, yes. Yeah, it's me. Well, first everybody's like, no, it ain't me. It ain't me. It ain't me. I'm like, it's somebody. Somebody needs to speak up right now. I know it's one of you over here in this area, this general area. God is telling me, and I need to come and put my hands on you, and I have a message for you from God. Do you want your message or not? The lady is sitting next to the preacher's wife, and she raises her hand. She's like, it's me. It's me, honey. Come on. So I come over there. I was like, you don't have to say anything. I was like, and I don't have to say anything. I said, all I have to tell you is what God's telling me. He told me to tell you that because you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, that he's already doing the work on you. It's going to be a little bit at a time, but you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to get your breath back. It's not going to be all at once. So I get this message. I give her the message. She hugs me. She's like, that's my favorite prayer. Thank you. Oh my God, I validate that. How do you do this? I don't know. I'm just telling you what God's telling me to do, and I'm coming to you and giving you the message. Then I get up. I go behind her. There's a lady with a leg problem, and I tell her, I got to put my hands on your legs. You don't have to say the prayer. It's already been said. It's being done. You're going to be healed. And I use the oil that I got on my hands. It's my left hand. I had to touch them like this. My left hand I had to put on their sore. My right hand I had to touch their forehead with these two fingers, get the oil in this hand. So it's like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know. So at the end of it, I go up to the preacher and I'm like, I need help. And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, I have these oils. And I knew I wasn't supposed to talk to this man. I knew it, but I'm listening to the friend. This is where I'm going to get into this in a minute while I'm going into this. So I'm listening to the friend. So I'm talking to the preacher. He yells at me, shit you not, in church. Why didn't you put your hands on Kyle? I did, dude, but I'm asking about these gifts and what I'm supposed to do with them. I didn't say that. All I said was, fuck you. And I walked out of the church. Shit you not, straight fucking F-bombed his ass and said, fuck you. I don't need your help. Walked out of the church. So this is probably why I'm the devil and I'm going to hell. Never went back. Never went back. I'm like, I don't need you. I don't need none of you people. You're all fucking false. Walked out, ain't never been back. Go home that night, and God comes to me. And he tells me, stop, Mel. Just stop. Stop looking for answers in other people. Come to me. I am a relationship, not a religion. I will guide you. I will show you your way. Just trust in me. Have faith in me. I will give you these gifts. I will teach you how to use these gifts, but you have to communicate with me. You have to listen when I come to you. You have to take this advice and you have to trust it. I didn't do this to you. I did this all for you. And this is what message God gave me that day. So I was like, all right. So I don't know if I'm spiritual. I don't know what I am. All I know is that I went through this experience that sent me into the dark night of the soul. And when I just looked this up and I got this definition, I'm like, it makes so much sense. Because I never looked it up. I just knew that's what it was. And that's just what I started calling it. It says it's used to describe an extremely difficult and painful period in one's life. That's mine. Dark night of the soul is often triggered by a tragic death. It sets us in to find our purpose in life, our path, our true path. It will put you into your awakening to where you understand who you are and why you was sent here, okay? I went through this dark night of the soul, and at the time I was a lost puppy. I'm like, who do I go to for help? And I'm like going to anybody I can get for help. Come to find out it wasn't none of them. The answers was already in me. I just needed to trust myself enough to listen, to stop fighting these gifts that I had been conditioned to believe was wrong and it was of the devil. And I had been told that my whole life, like manipulated by Christians. Just so you know, I was manipulated by the Christians. The Bible says, don't do this, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. I was scared to live. The return of God. Oh, it's the end of the world. This is the shit I went through. No wonder my mom had so many mental breakdowns, because these people was constantly drilling this into her head from the time she was a small child. Well, I was stronger mind than my mom. So I started reading the Bible by myself when I was 14. Well, when I got into my spiritual awakening, it was like they say it's a call to the higher consciousness, a deeper mental awareness, okay? For me, it was realizing that Christianity is not the only way to God. Seriously, God loves you no matter what you decide. He wasn't a Christian. He was a Jewish, his son Jesus, or however. I don't know all of it. I know some of it, but I thought it was all nonsense since I was a kid. Like the shit they was saying, the way they acted didn't match the shit they preached. So I guess that's the practice what you preach. See how these answers come to me? They acted one way and it was judgmental and putting people down, put my dad down, like just destruction all my life. It was destruction and trauma and bullshit. And now I live in the moment and it's like I'm waiting for this next bad thing to happen all the time. And it's a bad way to live. So I go into my awakening. I face this dark night of the soul. And it's forced me to accept my gifts. But it was like, I questioned God a lot. Like, why do you make me see tragedies if I can't do anything to stop it? Why do I have to live through it twice? Because not only does it make me look like I'm a heartless person, because I've already lived through it the first time in my dreams or in my visions. So it's like the tragedy hits me the first time. So then when I actually go through it, and I'm actually going through this tragedy, I'm doing it gracefully. And it's like, what the fuck? People think I'm just heartless and that I don't care. But it's not that. It's that I go into survival mode because I've already been experienced this thing. I already seen it coming. And now I have to live through it. And now I have to find strength inside to get through this bullshit that I've been pushed on me. So I'm like, God, if you love me, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep doing this to me? Why do you keep putting me through this? Well, because it's going to help you grow, Mel. It's going to help you to get where you need to be in life. It's going to help other people more than me, though, because it's like you're a light. I'm using you to shed my light, my love, back into the energy of the earth. Like, you need to put this back here. This is why you're here. It's not a fucking purpose for, like, excuse my language. I should not talk about God and cuss at the same time, but I can't help it. But my purpose is not for me. I don't do this for me. My purpose is to just put love back into the world. And sometimes I have to be stern. Sometimes I have to be firm, because there's a lot of people who will see my kindness and they will take advantage of it. They will thrive off of it. I have to deal with energy vampires. When I do readings, that takes a lot out of me, because it's like I'm draining my energy because I'm trying to tap into your energy, removing my energy at the same time, and then getting messages from spirit to tell you what you need to heal. So it's a lot that I'm taking in and I'm going through in like matters of seconds. People get frustrated with me, and I understand their frustrations because they think I'm judging them, but I'm not. I'm just feeling their energies, and I'm confused because I'm feeling all this pain, but they're saying one thing. So it's like important that when if you go to a reader, let me just tell you this. If you go to a reader, they already know the truth. And what they don't know, what you try to hide, they're gonna freaking see it. Like, they're gonna know it. But we're not, if you're truly like, I'm not a tarot reader. Like, I'm not a tarot reader. I read tarot, and they're like a visual aid to help me so that I get the clear picture, because if I just did it without the cards, I'd have to use so much of my energy to read you. The cards just show me what I need to see so that I'm able to tap into your energy better, into a more clearer vision. I don't need them. I can read you without the cards. I did it for years before I even picked them up and learned them. but they help me. They help me and they help you. It's like a visual aid. That's all that is. It's a tool to use to help you see what you need to get to heal within. And that's what my readings are for. My readings are not to predict your future. You're going to win the lottery. Here's 272. Go play the lottery numbers. 272. Hey, you guys might want to play that tomorrow. It might be a good one. I don't know where it came from. But it's not to predict the future. That's not why I do readings. My readings are to help you go within, find your inner child, what needs to heal from your inner child so that you can be your highest self. And the more of us that do this, this is why I do my channel. The more people who see my channel, who feel what I'm saying, who resonate with it, they can go within and heal. Even if it doesn't resonate, take what does and leave the rest for somebody else, because it might not all be for you. But for the ones who it is for, who's going through the dark night of the soul. And let me look this up real quick because I just read it to my friend. And I want you to understand what the dark night of the soul is, because it can be confused with depression. And it was for me. It was PTSD is what I was diagnosed with. A lot of people, like my mother, was diagnosed bipolar. I don't think she was bipolar. She had nervous breakdowns, yes, but I think my mom was having spiritual awakenings and they was being called nervous breakdowns. When they was about God, her one nervous breakdown, she took off all her clothes and she seen demons. She thought we was all demons and we was coming to get her. She thought she was God. And she was Jesus, and she was climbing out my brother's bedroom window, freaked us all out. We was kids. I was 8. My grandma had just died, and that's what caused hers, which is what makes me think she did not have a nervous breakdown. She had just lost my dad's mom. My dad was harassing her. He was freaking out. She's trying to be strong for everybody in the family and be the glue for everybody, and she just broke. She just snapped because she didn't have time to grieve herself, and she really loved my dad's mom. Like, she was really close to her. So when she passed from cancer, which is what took my mom later in life, my mom was trying to be this rock for everybody, and she just broke. Like, all her life she had to be the rock. She had to be the rock. So when she had this nervous breakdown, then my dad was making fun of her, calling her crazy and all this shit. Like, that fucked her up in life. She had 4 kids, and I will give my mom complete props on what she did. To raise 4 kids by herself while having a nervous breakdown, still managed to cook, clean, and take care of us. I do remember one time she was burning candles on the table and talking about Jesus was in the candle. And that was the greatest thing in the world to me, because we got to play with fire and candles, and I was just drawn to that. So I'm like, cool, this is fun. But I never did find Jesus in the flame like she's seen. Mother Mary, I think it was, she was praying. But that was her mind playing tricks on her. It was her spiritual awakening. I remember coming home from school one day too, and she didn't know me, and she was on the couch sleeping, and she's freaking out. But she later explained to me what happened that day was the medicine they had her on made her heart skip a beat, and she just couldn't breathe, and she was freaking out. So when I came home and I woke her up, she's like, "Who are you? What do you want?" Da, da, da. Freaked me out, and I was just giving her the picture I drew for her because I was happy she was home from her breakdown. But all this contributed to my mom, who had a spiritual awakening. Nobody listened to my mom, and everybody called her crazy. But let me tell you something. That woman knew everything. And I know she had a spiritual awakening and went through dark night of the soul. I don't think it was depression. I think it added to it the sadness and the grief of losing my grandma. But it threw her into one, because the shit she was saying, I was listening. I was paying attention to the stuff coming out of her mouth. And it was like this bird was on a fence and was talking to her. Just things that was weird. And then right before she died, there was a bird sitting on a fence post, and I got to hold it because my nephew had put it up on this fence post, and it was a little sparrow just like the one she's seen that was talking to her. Then she was telling me how spirit was coming to her as she's passing, and the shit they was saying was shit that she wouldn't have known. Things between me and Adam. Like, one day I was giving her her bath, sitting on the floor next to her, and she goes, "Adam wants me to give you this," and she takes off this ring and puts it on my finger and he told me to tell you he's sorry he never gave you a ring here on earth, but he's already married to you in heaven. And I'm like, huh? How did you know I was so upset about that? He told me. I talk to all of them. They come and talk to me all the time now that I'm almost there. So listen to people. Pay attention. Don't call them crazy. Don't judge them, because you don't know what they're experiencing. Okay, so dark night of the soul. Well, I don't need to look it up. I just read it. Okay, so it's like you experience a feeling. I don't know. Just look up the article because it's so in depth. You're going to experience this feeling that, like, where you question everything in life. Like, why am I here if everything's just going to end? And I'm still going through it. Sometimes I think I'm still going through it, but it might just be another spiritual awakening where I'm about to get another gift, because this happens too. But it's like something will trigger you to question everything about everything that you've ever known, everything that you was conditioned to believe. You're going to just knock out that old you, and then you're going to like cut people that no longer serve your purpose. You want to stand in your higher power. You want to do the best for the world. You want to put love out. You start like, okay, maybe people act like this because of this, and you acknowledge that people hurt you because they're hurt, and you understand now. Like, once you get through the dark night of the soul, going through it is hell. Hell, you'll want to die. You'll try to kill yourself. You'll fucking hate yourself. You'll hate everything around you. You will feel nothing. You will be completely fucking numb. You feel absolutely nothing. You're sad. You're burdened. It's the most horrific feeling you can ever experience. And then you hate yourself when you come out of it, because you're like, why was I like that? Like, for me, it was hard because I had 2 kids. They was teenagers and they could handle themselves. They knew how to take care of themselves at the time. But it was so fucking hard for me because here I am trying to grieve my fiance passing away. I'm trying to prepare myself for the loss that's coming with my mom, that I already know is coming with my mom. And I'm still trying to be a good mom and feed my kids and take care of them, keep a roof over our heads. But at the same time, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to get up. I don't want to be this horrible ass person that I'm being. And I'm healing myself is what I was doing. But I didn't realize that. I did not realize that. To me, it was, I'm being a fucking neglected mom. I'm being a horrible mom. What the hell is wrong with me? I got to get my ass out of this bed. But my body needed to rest. I had just put myself through 11 months of taking care of somebody, lifting him, bathing him, shaving him, clipping his nails, feeding him through his feeding tube, just trying to learn how to take care of him and do all this stuff for him. Putting my own needs on the back burner, not taking care of myself at all during this time, taking care of him, taking care of the kids. I'm working. I was working, taking care of an old man who had Alzheimer's. I was doing it all by myself with nobody helping me. So I took a lot on. So I understand why I went through it. And then I just went into this sadness and this grief, and it caught up to me, and I just was down. And in that time, I was watching tarot readings, and I was trying to figure out, like, what is this? What is wrong with me? Will I ever get better? I went to the doctors, told them I had PTSD. They put me on medication, and that kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. But nothing made me feel right until I got out of it. And then I just started understanding my gifts. I started listening to Spirit, and I just trust it now. And I am able to help people now. It took me a while to come out and like do what I'm doing on my channel, this channel, but I had to get my mom's approval first. Like, it was really important for me to get my mom's approval before I started my YouTube channel. I needed to know that she would support me. And when she did, after she passed, I started my channel. All right. So that's Dark Night of the Soul. Let's see what the tarot has to say that I might have missed. Actually, I don't even want this deck. Let's do the Soul's Journey. I'm feeling it. Let's see what we get. Spirit, what do you guys need to say on the Dark Night of the Soul? And I will read out the book for this. And if you're experiencing the Dark Night of the Soul, don't give up. It's super important not to give up. You're gonna get through it, and when you get through it, you're gonna understand things at a level that you never understood things before. It's a growth, a spiritual growth. It actually is a spiritual growth. You'll understand things. You'll have the gift of discernment when you come through it, to where you can understand. Did you guys see the orb just fly? You will understand why. Like, you'll know when people come into your life, what they're there for and what they're gonna do to you, if they're gonna hurt you or not. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. This is what they want me to speak on, and I didn't speak on this, so I'm glad this came out. Blame. When you get through the Dark Night of the Soul, you're able to stand in your power enough to be like, hey, I allowed this toxic energy in my life. How do I stop it now? What do I need to do to get over this? It's nobody's fault but my own, because I allowed it into my life. So let's go on this. And we'll pull another one. This is amazing. I love how my cards just work with me and not against me. Blame. It is so easy to give away the power to transform your life. Yeah, I can't say words. Certainly, there have been people along your path who have shaped you into who you are today, but you are solely responsible for your own happiness. I just said this earlier in my video for today. The ego can be a very fragile thing, and if it comes under fire, the first instinct is to blame an outside force, victim consciousness, weakness, the connections that you have to your soul source. This mindset says, I don't have the power inside myself to break free because someone else's power is stronger. This is an illusion. When you believe that someone else is responsible for your problems, that belief is the problem. Personal responsibilities can empower you to change your reality. Lasting transformations always begin on the inside and works its way out. There is a difference between a reason and an excuse. A reason is valid and unavoidable. An excuse is an attempt to shift blame. It is nobody's fault you're not happy. It is nobody's fault. Like that Adam hung himself. I blamed myself for that. Like, it's my fault. I should have been a better person. It wasn't my fault. I didn't tell him to pick up that bottle and drink that shit from morning up until nighttime. That I took so much energies and blame on myself for things that happened in my life, and I was blamed for things like my mom. I was blamed by my dad that it was my fault she was having nervous breakdowns, which is what caused me to try to kill myself when I was a kid. And then I went and talked to God, and he's like, no, you're not going to do it. But blame is like something where somebody hasn't stood up for themselves to learn how to love themselves and heal themselves. So they have to blame somebody else. Like, if you shift blame on somebody else, like, they shouldn't have did that to me. They did this to me. They hurt me like this. No, motherfucker. You allowed them to hurt you like that. You allowed them to come into your energy. You have boundaries you have to set in life with people. Like, no, you're not going to do that. I respect people who come at me with boundaries because I know they've done the work on themselves and they love themselves enough to be like, nope, that ain't going to work with me. Not today. Nope, not going to deal with it. That's sexy to me. So if somebody sets a boundary with me, it's like, cool. I respect that boundary. I'm going to follow that. That's a trigger for you. I'm not going to cross that trigger again because I respect that. I respect that you had enough respect for me to tell me, look, this is a boundary. I'm going to set it with you. Now I'm going to respect your boundaries. Okay, cool. I'm not going to cross that no more. I understand it. I respect it because I'm there. Personally, I'm there myself. Like, I get it. I don't want people to hurt me, and I'm going to set boundaries too. But if you don't respect my boundaries, you don't get my presence in your life. And that's a loss you don't want to take. Next card is honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. These are good ones. Okay, I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. And being truthful with others is a slippery business. You are expected to tell and unexpected to be told white lies. No one wants their feelings hurt, but sometimes a strong dose of reality is needed. This is what I just said. No one can tell you definitely in what circumstances an unwrath would be better. But honestly, honesty is usually the best policy. You and only you know in your heart when the right time is to be totally honest. The only time you must be absolutely truthful is when you are addressing yourself. You must at all times present yourself authentically to those around you. Only by being yourself do you draw in the people and the circumstances that you most need to learn from. Listen, I live on this. Coming from a family of a lot of liars who just lie to lie and just talk to talk. Honesty and authenticity. Wow. Can anybody do that anymore? Like, seriously? Don't lie to me. I know you're lying. Like, I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit. I'd rather you come correct. Okay, so I've dealt with this a lot recently with people I've talked to, trying to date again, whatever. I'm over this. Okay, so it's like people will drag you along in the dating game. We're gonna use this as a topic. I'm not gonna go into any specifics. And they'll make you think, oh, I'm interested in you, but only if you do this or if you do that. Da, 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 da. And they're like, there are no boundaries. There's no clear boundaries. It's a mess. So it's like, I'd rather somebody be honest with me. If they're not attracted to me in that way, let me know from the get-go. Don't make me sit here and waste my time. My time is precious and valuable. I don't waste time on energies that don't feel the same way about me. Like, I'm cool. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Just be honest with me. Be real with me. Don't drag me along. Okay? That's just not cool. That's like, I wouldn't waste your time. Don't waste my time. But honesty, you're not going to get from everybody. You have to use your gift of discernment. And you're the only one that can be honest. You have to be true enough to yourself to recognize, and I'm going to get into this week too. You got to be true enough with yourself to recognize toxic behaviors. When you see a red flag, run. Run, run, run. Don't stick around and make excuses for this red flag. Either directly ask this person, why did you do this? Why did you come at me this way? What did that mean? I need answers. If they can't give you answers, red flag, gaslighting, run. No more toxic energies. Now we have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. I'm going to end it at this one because we're like 35 minutes in. But these are just things that I really need to talk about. Like when you go through your dark night of the soul, it opens your eyes and you learn so much after it. It's so hard to get through it. And the difference in the dark night of the soul and an awakening is the dark night of the soul happens once. This is what I've been told by Spirit, not by the books. I haven't really read too much about it. But to me, what I've understood from talking to God, you only go through dark night of the soul once. It's like that really bad nervous breakdown. That's the way I'm going to put it. After that, it's little ones and they're awakenings. And it's just because you're about to learn a new gift. And the awakening is to like prepare you for something new. You've leveled up and you're going to get another gift given to you from God, the divine. Make sure you're vibing high at all costs. I always preach this when I'm doing my readings. If you're stuck in that 5 of Pentacles energy where you're sad and you're looking into the past, is it the 4 of Pentacles? The 3 cups on the ground and the 1 from the divine, the gift coming? The 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Cups, not Pentacles, sorry. 4 of Cups, that energy where he's sad, he's sitting by the tree, he's depressed, he's looking at what he's lost, and he's missing out on what he's about to give. Get out of that energy, guys, because that energy will have you stuck, and then you're going to miss out on these gifts that the divine is going to give you. These gifts are gifts that you need to survive in life, like the gift of discernment, the gift of being able to communicate telepathically. I've had that since I was a kid. I'm testing it now, like the other people that are like me, and I'll be like, let's play with this. Let's figure this out a little bit more, because that's something that's always been interesting to me. The gift astral project. That's for my friend who's wanting to do that. I think he should. It's a gift he's already got, and he's wanting to figure it out. Go ahead, do it. I support that. Lots of different gifts we have. Like I astral project anyway, but I don't want to. Like, oh, that's kind of scary to me. It's scary to me, but that's me. That's me. I don't want that gift. I don't want a lot of these gifts that I have. I don't want to talk to dead people. I don't like talking to people that are alive. So you'll never really see me push the issue that I'm a medium or I'm trying to. I just give the messages when I receive the messages. I'm not tapping into anything that doesn't want to tap into me. If it wants to come through, I will receive the message. I will give the message, and then I'm going to leave it alone. You're not going to see me on TV having my TV show. Like, oh, I talk to ghosts and dead people. No, because I don't really want to talk to the people alive, let alone ones I can't see. I can hear you, I can feel you, and I don't want to. But I have to. Sometimes I have to. Sometimes it's just something that comes through me and I have to do it. All right, so let's do this. Success. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be normal, or what people call normal, and not be woke, and not know the things I know, not see the things I see, and not be able to do anything about it. Like, that's the hardest part for me, not being able to help people who I know are about to die. And I've seen that all my life. Like, I see death on people and I don't want to. Okay. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Success can mean many things to the ego, to the ego self. So tomorrow's video is going to be why it's so important to kill the ego, because I've been saying this. The best thing you can do to love yourself is to kill the ego, and I'll teach you that. But the soul only knows one triumph, and that is to love. When your soul is no longer manifested in the physical dimensions, it is a time of reflection on how successful it was with that endeavor. The soul doesn't care about how big your house was, or how nice your car was, or how many bank accounts you had. The soul only cares about how you expressed love and compassion. I say that all the time. And the infinite wisdom of the universe, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive. And even your ego's definition of success is altered. Your notion of how you would be I got like air bubbles in my throat. Let me start this over. In the infinite wisdom of the universe, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive, and even your ego's definition of success is altered. Your notion of how you would be perceived as successful will change. The material things that you thought would make you happy will not have the same appeal. Okay, I lost myself in that for a minute because that was one of the things I was looking for when I was going to Google it. When you hit the dark night of the soul, this is what I was missing. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for coming through my cards. When you hit the dark night of the soul, it's amazing because, and I'm there, like I'm at this point in my awakening. I want to downsize everything. I want to fix my camper and I want bare minimum in my life. Like none of this shit matters. I was working on my real estate license and a part of me is like, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to sit here and bust my ass and work my whole fucking life away to make sure my kids have financial stability when they're completely able and capable to do it for themselves? Or do I just want to get that camper put together and live for me for a change? Because I haven't ever done it. My son is completely supporting me in doing this. My daughter is too. Like, go, Mom, go live your life. You've done enough for us. We can handle ourselves. Like, they're like, don't worry about that. We got this, Mom. We got this. You've done good. Both of my kids are encouraging this for me because they know how bad my soul yearns for this. So it's like, I have 10 years to get my real estate license. I can be studying while I'm traveling. And since I have to start over now anyway, what the fuck? Why not? So when you go through your awakening, materialistic shit no longer matters. You don't care. None of that shit matters anymore. You realize, especially if it's through a tragedy like a death that sets you into your awakening, you realize that none of this shit goes with you in the end. The only land that I need to own, I already own, and it's right next to my mom. It's a 6x6 plot where I'm going to be 6 feet under and I'm going to be buried next to my mom. My ground is already paid for. My home that I need to own is butt naked right now and it needs to be put together, and I'm working on that. But those are the things that matters. Like, I can make memories now that I didn't understand before. Like, these memories that we need to make with our loved ones and our family. That's what matters, you guys. That's why we're here. Understanding, being respectable, being good, honest, loyal, loving people, and putting love back into the world. That is why I do what I do. To preach it, to teach it. And I do live that way. I do love everybody I care about. But I also love with boundaries now. Because I'm not selfish. I'm not this heartless person. It's just my heart is so pure and so big, it's got to be protected. And it is my job to protect my heart. It is my job to make sure nobody comes in and hurts me again. And I say that again and again. It is my job to do that. And I have to take blame if I allow somebody in my energy and I let them be toxic in my life. That is for me to accept. I allowed that. I didn't love myself enough that I allowed that energy in my life. I don't want that. That's not for me, and I'm not going to accept it. I will love the fuck out of you. I will love you with all I have. I will give you my last. But the minute I feel like you're taking me for granted, the minute I feel like you are, and I will give you many chances. This is who I am. I'll give you plenty of chances to prove yourself to me. I will tell you when you're doing something to me that I don't like, and if you don't fix it, you're going to get about 4 strikes with me now. 4, and that's being lenient. I should say 3, but I'm going to be nice and give you 4 because I give you that bonus one. If I tell you, and I have to tell you something on repeat, how to treat me over and over, and you don't listen, and you don't respect my boundaries, I will cut you out of my life, and it will be permanent. and I won't help you anymore. Look, I'm getting heart pains right here. Somebody's experiencing some shit. I think my dad is not good. I don't want to talk about it anyway. That's all. I think that's all. So dark night of the soul is some serious ass shit, and you will go through it and it will shift you. There are signs. I will try to find that link that I read earlier and put it in below in the description box below, so you guys can go read up on it if you think you're experiencing it. Just type in dark night of the soul, and there was a whole list I was going to read, but I don't want this video to be forever long. Everybody has lives they gotta live. But with me, I can tell you my side of the dark night of the soul, what I've experienced in my life, how I've become who I am on my spiritual journey, the trials and tribulations I've overcome. And that's my best to give you my version of the dark night of the soul, but it's going to be different for everybody. We are all on a different journey. We all have our own things that we deal with. There are going to be similarities in people's lives, and those are the people you should really cherish in life because they understand you at a level somebody else won't. Be grateful when God puts people in your life. Acknowledge it. Have an attitude of gratitude, even the bad people. Like, always keep that attitude of gratitude, because like God told me, I didn't do this to you. I did this for you, so that you'll have this strength in you when you got to go to real battles. And there are real battles in life. We all face them. We all face these hard battles. And there's a big battle coming up. It's a spiritual battle. I've been feeling it. My friends who are spiritual, I've been feeling it. But I don't think it's a battle that is going to be like, I think it's individual. Everybody individual is going to face a spiritual warfare. And we're going under spiritual attacks. And we have to learn how to fight on a higher realm, a different level. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because there's a lot to it that I cannot express in words. I'm not supposed to. Anyway, make sure you know what you're doing. Keep your minds open and allow energies. Listen to people around you. Listen to what they have to say. You might learn something off of them. And understand them. Like, don't judge people. Just don't judge people. You don't know what anybody's gone through. You don't know if they're facing the dark night of the soul, and God bless them if they are. You don't know. So just try to do everything with an open heart. Be loving, be kind, and just keep pushing through. You guys will get through it. If you're going through dark night of the soul, you'll know. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out my Etsy shop if you want some of my candles I make. And tomorrow I said I was going to talk about ego and killing the ego. So that will be on tomorrow's video. We're going to talk about why that is going to help you in life and how it serves your highest purpose and how to get you where you need to be spiritually. All right, you guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you don't like this, hit the thumbs down. I don't care. Either way, my shit's going to circulate from it. And I just want to make sure I get my word out to everybody that needs to see it, which I'm not worried about, really. Like, I don't care if I just hit one person and I help one person to get through something or keep them from wanting to commit suicide. That's what matters the most for me. That's why I started this channel. With Adam doing what he did and not having nobody to go to, I will be that voice. If you need somebody to talk to, you guys know where to find me. I'm on Facebook, Melanie Evans. I will spend up all night with you and talk to you if you're in like a position like that. I'll give you free readings. I don't care. It ain't about money for me. It's about spreading love, helping people find healing, helping people go within and do what's best for themselves and know their value and stop settling for scraps and bullshit and toxic energy. Stop allowing people to beat you down because you are good enough. You are enough. You deserve more than settling for bullshit. We all do. No matter what we're conditioned to believe as children, we are better than that. So we're all going to rise up like phoenixes that we are. We're all going to learn how to love each other and ourselves. And that all starts with self-healing and self-love. Learn it, know it, and accept it. Accept blame, accept bullshit. All right, I rambled enough. I love you guys. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, the next day, because this is the same day. Keep your head up, like Tupac said. It's going to get better. All right, I will be back soon with Killing the Ego.